This is a good nighttime story for y'all. A new book I just received, Apocalypse Now, The End is Nigh. And then we got I'm With Her right there. It's telling us that we're all going to die. Look at that rhyme. I literally just came up with it. By Evan Sayet, illustrated by A.F. Branco. If you're not familiar with A.F. Branco's cartoons, I think you should. So let me read this to you, shall I? Good night, my love. Yes, I know that you're frightened. So while you doze off, allow me to enlighten. I know about this thing of which they keep warning. I know all about this thing they call global warming. When I was your age, they cried global cooling. An ice age, they said. Then they said, hey, just fooling. Next, a hole in the ozone they swore would cause pain. When that didn't happen, they yelled acid rain. But when the rain came down, just as it always did, it conjured some new things which to scare kids. First, the birds were diseased, and then the swine, they had flu. If one didn't get you, the other would do. Oops. When the pig and the bird proved not to be bad, they turned to the cow who would drive us all mad. Well, that didn't happen. No one fell to the knees. So they went on undaunted and yelled, killer bees! You remember all this stuff? It's so true, man. Ah! Let's see if we can read that. But when no one was stung, they just kept right on hissing. The real threat, they said, was the bees had gone missing. So it was killer bees, and now the bees had gone missing. We were to die of starvation, the world out of food, or we'd all freeze to death. As we ran out of fuel, if the floodplains got flooded or the desert saw drought, they screeched and they screeched, the man's time had run out. I love this stuff, man. Now they ignore all these threats they made in the past, but this time they're certain that this time's the last. I gotta read this. True, the rain wasn't acid, the birds not diseased, and despite a consensus, the world never freezed. The hole in the ozone, well, it didn't much matter. And instead of starvation, we've all grown just fatter. The bees in their hives, well, they're doing just fine. And the only mad cow is me time to time. But the latest, the greatest, this time they're certain. We're all doomed, they swear. It's man's final curtain. They've all done their homework. The science is settled. Don't even question. You'll be sorry you meddled. And it's cold then it's hot, and it's cold then it's cold then it's hot, and it's hot then it's cold. And this spells disaster, or so we're told. Expert elementary kid. Now listen to me. It rains then it's dry, and it's dry then it rains. Each time it spells doom, and then another expert explains. Since the weather's the weather, and there's nothing much strange, it's no longer called warming, it's now climate change. Though their models don't work, their predictions not right, they still worry all day. They can't sleep at night because Al Gore is their man and he says it's so. He invented the internet and he should know. No disaster has come as he predicted. Every forecast by truth has been contradicted. Still they cling to their claims every year after year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that somehow we're still here. And it's still bright and sunny with all those rainbows. And look at Dad with a rabbit. Everything looks good. Oh my goodness. So they gather in Davos. Private planes they'll all fly to conjure up the next way to tell us we'll all die. To make up the next and the next after that. And then they'll say it's from straws. No, wait, it's trans fat. From straw. Or maybe the big gulp will cause our demise. So they'll make it a crime to dare supersize. And maybe the folks on their side with their smarts, pull my finger, are right when they say we're doomed by cow farts. Look at the cow says pull my finger. Ah! Oh, the straws. Oh, man. As you can see, my love, it's not about science. They just want control. They need your compliance. Repent. Oh, that's such a good word. As you can see, my love, it's not about science. They just want control. They need your compliance. It's why it doesn't matter just who, if, when, and why, just as long as you know that the end is nigh. They still kept the "I with her" thing. Oh, it's classic. The end is nigh. So sleep well, my child. There's no great disaster. Earth's not spinning slower, nor spinning any faster. The world's not about to flip over on its axis. The truths all they want is more. The truths all they want is more power, fame, and taxes. Global warming, $1 zillion in taxes. Such a good book. Apocalypse is a man-made is a made-up plural of apocalypse and the never-ending apocalyptic visions used by greedy control freaks to increase their wealth and power. Al Gore has made millions off the latest scheme, global warming, while socialists like AOC and Nancy Pelosi use it to push big government one world agenda. In his faux children's book, political comedian and philosopher Evan Sayed walks us through the plethora of apocalypse that have come and gone through the years behind this scam behind man-made global warming. I love it. And then he has another book, The Kindergarten of Eden, How the Modern Liberal Thinks. He lives in Los Angeles. Can be reached at evansayed.com. So for you all who say, Josh, you're getting political. I tell you, the issue that we have here is that these are the things that the green has been wrong, called unseen misery, cause unseen misery and destruction, chaos, and death, actually. Just from snakes in the grass, from the destruction of Haiti, with what these big guys from the UN and Clinton Foundation, just all over the place. We know this to be factual, absolutely. I was reading right now an article from Der Spiegel about Germany and how they're like, ooh, yeah, we're not going to meet those goals we set for electricity, never mind energy, total energy use. The issue, my friends, is, look, you might hate CO2, that's fine. I don't. We need CO2. Why? Because CO2 is a nutrient for plants. But if you do, you doggone better not be getting on a plane, better not be getting on a cruise ship, and don't just tell me you're going to drive your Prius to the airport, because that's not going to get the job done. If you're getting on the plane, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Your flight to London from Los Angeles uses the same amount of kilowatt hours, all right, than my whole family does in a year. All right, I'm just telling you right now, that one round trip flight from Los Angeles to London uses the same amount of kilowatt hours that my whole family does in the year. All right, so we got to stop this right now. That the idea that you can fly and be worried about CO2, those things are mutually exclusive. You can be worried about it, but you can't do anything about it if you're getting on a plane. It's just that simple. Thus, you need to do one of two things if this is truly a concern of you. Recognize that CO2 is not going to do us all, which is what I do, because we're fine. Or be a huge proponent of nuclear. If not a proponent of nuclear, I don't know else. Or you can go live in a cave. And just ironically, most people who claim the biggest concerns about CO2 are the ones that fly their private jets. Leonardo DiCaprio, Al Gore, Thomas Friedman, Barbara Streisand, the list goes on and on and on. And the reason is because they know socialism doesn't work. They can't make it work. They know that. So what they do, they go for the apocalypse of environmental degradation, because they know it can't be fixed. Because if they keep this out there at all times to say we're all going to die, it can never be fixed. It can never be fixed, which gives them the power to regulate how you live your life. I'm sorry if you find this political. We got to defeat these guys. You got to. And the best way to do it is to mock them. Mock them is the way to do it. And this right here, Apocalypse Now, absolutely a great book for you to get for your kids, your grandkids, your quote-unquote green lover people who are flying airplanes. Absolutely. And look, I give AOC credit. Now, she's now saying the new Green Deal was a joke, essentially. But she did say explicitly, as a Sierra Club, you cannot fly and be green. They said that. Now, she didn't say that in those specific words, but she did say she wants to ban air travel. Sierra Club has done the same. That's 100% true. If you want to get rid of CO2 because you're worried about greenhouse gas, it's just odd because CO2 is so small relative to water vapor and relative to methane, yet we're worried about CO2. It's just odd to me. Anyway, all right, I hope you like this. I'll put a link to the show notes for this. It's the #1 political cartoon book on Amazon right now. My man Evan just wrote it not too long ago, and I think it's a great read for sure. So I put on, how much did I pay for this? I think I paid like $11 or something like that. But essentially, what you're doing by buying it, you're supporting the cause. You're telling the world that, hey, there are people like-minded who want to have a market for this kind of political chicanery, if you will, which is just dominated by one side. The whole culture is dominated by one side. And this is your way to say, no, I'm part of the culture and I want my side represented too. So I don't know who this guy is. I hope he's living large. I absolutely do, because I love it. I will see you next time.